Is Gohan being propped up to win the Tournament of Power? What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video, where today I am joined by a very good guest of mine, that being Emish's Live, as we're going to be discussing the upcoming role that Gohan has in the Tournament of Power, alongside sharing our thoughts and predictions as to what we see from Gohan going into the Tournament of Power. Now, Emish, welcome back to the channel. In case you guys want to go ahead and check his channel out, I will leave a description down below linking his channel. Now, I wanted to ask you, based on what we saw in Dragon Ball Super episode 90, based on the overall buildup that we have for Gohan, do you think that more so now than ever, there is a possible chance of Gohan having the spotlight put on him? And similar to what happened during the Cell Saga, we saw how Gohan assumed his position after Goku pretty much told everyone that he wanted Gohan, and he figured that Gohan was going to be the one to defeat Cell. Not saying that this is going to be something to where Gohan can pull off the same trick and being stronger than Goku. I think that what we saw in Dragon Ball Super episode 90 and Goku having to appoint Gohan as the team leader is a very good decision, and we spoke about this off camera in the fact that I think that Goku isn't suited on being a team leader, because this entire tournament is solely based around him and him having to ask the Omni King to bring all the fighters together and simply having to test his own abilities and having to get stronger and break through his limitations, whereas opposed to Gohan has no need or desire to fight any of the other multiverse competitors in trying to push his own limits. However, Gohan does have a responsibility in trying to prevent his universe from being destroyed. So I wanted to get your thoughts on Gohan, and what do you believe his chances are of winning this tournament by himself? Do you see this being a possibility, or do you think that Gohan is going to have his moment but ultimately be dethroned by either Goku or Vegeta or someone else from Universe 7?
Well, with the kind of news that we've been receiving like these past couple of weeks, I would say anything is, I mean, the definition, if you wanted to know what anything is possible means, just watch Dragon Ball Super.
Right.
I think that's like a good example of that. They could definitely be propping Gohan up to be if they don't want to make him a main character now, to take the spotlight now, he could take the spotlight right after the tournament. That's still possible.
Right.
But we said it before in another video we said it plenty times off camera. I just hope that they don't do to him what they did in the Buu arc, where he came back like this ultimate being, top dog, and he just assumed the position. He just assumed that the fight was won. But now I think training with Piccolo, he's kind of learned that it's not just about power, it's about how you use that power. You can't be a good fighter if you don't portray that. If you show that you don't have a brain that operates a certain way, then how can you ever say that you're top tier and as a fighter? So with that being said, I would say that they're giving us a lot of indications. I feel like they kind of just threw Gohan at us out of the blue.
Right.
Out of the blue. Out of the blue. But it's kind of like I wasn't expecting, and that when I saw that in the episode, for him to take the position as leader. But it kind of does make sense after you watch it again. He pretty much was the leader that whole episode. He did display leadership qualities when he took charge at Tien, when they charged at Piccolo and Gohan just appeared. He was pretty much soloing that whole match.
Definitely. I was going to say, did you not notice the connection between Ten Shinhan and Goku as compared to Piccolo and Gohan? We saw how Gohan defended Piccolo, whereas Tien, when he was getting beat up by Gohan, Goku didn't really do nothing. He asserted his position in attacking Gohan, but never really worried too much about Tien, whereas opposed to Gohan was looking after Piccolo and vice versa. So I think that's a very a good assessment in Goku having to notice that and taking an assertive action and placing Gohan as the team leader. But the chances of Gohan winning, like legitimately winning this tournament, what do you think? Tough. Is this possible for him?
It's possible literally for any, I think, member on Universe 7, except for Tien, by the way.
And Roshi. I can't see Roshi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know, bro.
Yeah, and, at this point, they throw a whole bunch of stuff.
Krillin has shown to be. I think I agree with Krillin earning his spot on the team. I'll admit it.
Wow, is that a change of heart?
No, I still don't like him. It's just I admit that he is necessary for this team. You need him.
Right.
They legitimately need what he could offer. He could be one of those guys that just comes out of the brew and just hits you with the 100
times solar flare or something.
You never, anything, or what he did to the floor against Goku with the destructo disc. That was amazing. So I would say, but can Gohan win? It's really interesting, man. There are other videos on YouTube talking about that now. A lot of people are talking about potentially Gohan winning.
Would it make sense, you think?
Would it make sense for him to win? Yes, because it would be a surprise. It would be in the case of expecting the unexpected, right? So for example, they kind of hyped up this whole thing with Jiren. Then they kind of, with Goku and Toppo. Then all of a sudden we find out Toppo's not really top dog. We find out Jiren is still the top dog. Then we have all these other new characters coming into play. So even if Goku did, show us something new at the tournament, Gohan being the leader, you have to assume that, well, usually in the end, the leader always makes it out alive, right? The leader tends to be that guy who survives, or that guy who sets the example, or that guy who really leads their team to victory, right? That's his position. That's what his role is.
Right.
If he were to get knocked off, how would that work as far as, what I'm saying? Like, how would that work as far as you being able to guide your team or to portray yourself in the tournament? So it's interesting. I think that it's definitely possible. Maybe perhaps Goku and Jiren will fight, and then something else will happen, and it'll be up to Gohan. We don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. I think the possibility of Goku having to be ringed out is high, because just because he has like this new power that breaks past his limits doesn't mean that he can easily solo this entire tournament. You're going up against candidates to be gods, that being Toppo and Jiren, who is supposed to be the strongest of that universe, and then you got on the other side, you got Hit and possible other fighters that are, equal to statures to their universe as Hit and Jiren are to theirs. So I think that since Goku is the target, it makes sense, because let's say if Goku was the leader and the leader were to get ringed out, the team would be kind of like, worried as to what they're going to do, because like their top guy just got thrown out. However, in this scenario, I can definitely see Goku doing his business with Jiren. And even if it does come to the point where we have like a double ring out between Jiren and Goku, or even Hit, Goku and Jiren, and it does boil down to Gohan, in terms of leadership skills, Gohan definitely possesses more of that than Goku. Right. Because I think that more or less throughout this entire fight, I could see Goku working more or less by himself. And the same thing can be said about Vegeta. But that's Vegeta's character. But seeing what we saw with Gohan and Piccolo, I was very impressed by, because as Piccolo was charging up his energy, Gohan did what he had to do to defend Piccolo for that time being. But I was also going to ask you, what about the possible chance of Gohan getting a tremendous Zenkai boost after having to fight his father, in the fact that we've seen how this works before. We've seen how when Saiyans take massive damage, they come back stronger, and that's just in their nature. I think we can reflect that between Vegeta and Trunks, when he pretty much knocked Trunks into the dirt, and he pretty much told Trunks, you can't be satisfied with this power, you have to keep on increasing. And then down the line, he achieved something of that nature that, he wasn't able to achieve before. Do you think that Gohan, after having to spar with his dad and feeling the immense pressure of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, do you think that's going to help him out by any chance, like in terms of increasing his strength? Or do you think that it's just going to be disregarded and Gohan's going to do his own thing without having any sort of like significant Zenkai increase?
Well, he still could get a Zenkai increase. The Saiyans in general could do that midway into the tournament. So it just depends how they want to go about it. I think when they meant that Gohan will come back stronger than he's ever been, was pretty much in episode 90. I think it's safe to say he is stronger than he ever has been before, right? Yeah. So I think that's what they meant by that. And going into the tournament, yes, he still has room to grow, and maybe not just, in terms of power, but he still has room to grow as a fighter and as a person. So he could learn a lot of things midway into the battle. And the fact that he's the leader on top of that, it kind of forces him and puts him in a very unfamiliar position.
Right.
Everybody has always looked up to Goku. Everybody has always looked to Goku to handle and solve everybody's problems.
Right.
But now that everybody has a say, or that everybody's influence actually has a direct influence in how this whole thing could turn out, it's really interesting now, because it's no longer just in Goku's hands. Yes, Goku did pretty much put a target on his back, right, and ask for everybody to just come at him directly, which could open up ways for the other fighters to make room. Because if let's say theoretically everybody is targeting Goku, for the most part, a lot of people end up targeting Goku.
Yeah.
It does kind of take off a lot of pressure from everybody else, especially with Gohan, and especially granted that everybody is targeting Goku and only thinks highly of Goku at the time. So they still don't know what Vegeta's capable of. They sure as hell don't know what Gohan's capable of. And all these gods saw what Gohan was capable of in this exhibition match. So for him to come back this strong is going to be a slap in the face to them, I think.
Oh, of course, because I'm pretty sure they overlooked him once they saw Goku fight. But I also wanted to ask you about the piece of dialogue that was mentioned in Dragon Ball Super episode 90, that being as Gohan was talking to his father, he said, and I quote, "My goal is an ultimate form that no one has ever seen before. I am going to aim for that with a different method than you." With Goku having to respond by saying, "Strong guys from all the universes are going to gather at the tournament. I thought there would be no better place to train myself, but I've been forgetting that, Gohan, you have been here beside me the whole time." So I think that that's a very important piece of dialogue, especially with Goku having to realize that, granted, he didn't really think that there was going to be any other place for him to train and improve. He finally realized that this entire time that he was getting stronger and improving himself, that Gohan has been right next to him this entire time. And I think that that's a reflection as to how strong Gohan has gotten, because during that time when Goku rushed towards him, he said that, and with Gohan having to say, you know, "I'm going to achieve an ultimate form even higher than how you did it, except I'm going to take a different approach." And with that, everyone has been asking and everyone has been wondering, and there's nothing wrong with discussions or theories, as many others would have a problem with that, but I wanted
there's a limit to everything.
No, of course, but I wanted to ask you personally, with all of this fuss going around about Gohan having a potential new form, or Gohan achieving something that's similar but not quite similar to Goku and Vegeta's God form, or something along the lines to where in this tournament he's by himself to a degree, and he realizes there's no way out, he's pretty much hit his peak, and then he too also breaks past his limitations according to what we saw now. But do you think it's in the realm of possibility for Gohan's character to have that? Because for me, I disagree. I don't think that Gohan should or have any other alternative form that goes beyond his ultimate power, because this is what everyone has mainly focused on in Dragon Ball Z. When they saw him achieve the ultimate form for the first time, there was no need for him to become a Super Saiyan because of how strong he was. And also, looking at how Ultimate Gohan carried himself here, I think that there's room for improvement on his current ultimate form. Thus, there is no need for him to go any higher or achieve anything more, because then it kind of devalues, I think, the ultimate form, because all of us want to see what the ultimate form can really do against fighters like, you know, Kale and Khalifa and, you know, Kaba and Frost and all these dudes. But do you think that based on this dialogue, they're foreshadowing something, or they're hinting at Gohan achieving something similar to his dad, but except taking a different method and approach to that? Or do you think that Gohan's just going to remain the way he is? And similar to how we spoke about off camera, is he going to have just this one moment in this arc and then later on go back to being a student? Or is Gohan going to have more involvement than how he did previously? Because let's be realistic, it's been 91 episodes and he's done nothing up until right now, and which I think is good, because he is a very important piece to the Dragon Ball puzzle. But what are your overall thoughts on that piece of dialogue and him having to achieve something higher, or at least similar to his dad, but just taking a different method and approach?
Right. Well, I think it's safe to say that they saved probably one of the biggest demands as far as fan service is concerned for last.
Okay.
One of the biggest demands, and that was Gohan. A lot of people have been asking and begging for them to actually make Gohan relevant, or have him, you know, give him a major role, or just some placement in the story.
Yeah.
And the term and the context, and when he says, "My goal is an ultimate form," that shouldn't be taken out of context. What he's saying is not literally like a transformation of some kind where his body changes. What he's saying is an ultimate form of himself, meaning and to grow in power. He wants to be compared, and it's ironically enough, when we look at the name of the episode, the wall that must be climbed, and then, you know, defeat, basically going up against his father, right? That's the wall. So he wants to get there, but using a different method. He wants to be as strong as his father, if not stronger, but his own way, which is amazing, because that's exactly what Goku wanted to do, but he's always had to resort to getting, I mean, at least in Super, he's had to resort to getting the help of the gods, which makes sense. That's why the gods were introduced, right? To give them the Super Saiyan Blue concept.
Right.
But now that we have Gohan, and the fact that his potential, this unique ability of his was unlocked by an Elder Kai, and the fact that it's being reintroduced and reborn into Dragon Ball Super, it kind of tells us to, you know, for sure it tells us that they're going to keep Gohan for the long term. It's to assure you fans that they're planning to keep Gohan for the long term. He's not going to get strong and then go back to being nothing again, which to me is better than anything else anyone could ever ask for, as far as when you support a character, right?
Right.
It's like the same thing with Vegeta. Vegeta has to be relevant. He has to be a part of the story, right? So as of lately, he's been on the sidelines doing his thing with his family. That's fine.
For now.
Right. But it's assuring the fans that Gohan's here. He's here to stay. And even if he goes on the side, we're not going to forget about him. Don't worry. He's going to be a major part of the story. I don't know what they're going to do with it. They still, they still have to follow up with the continuation of Dragon Ball Z, the ending of Dragon Ball Z, right? Which was the Oob, the whole thing with Oob. So if they somewhere down the line try to make this relationship between not only Goku and Oob, but perhaps maybe even Gohan, for example. Let's say when Goku leaves to go train with Oob, if that's what the approach they take, and they don't do a time skip, or even if they do, perhaps Gohan at that point could have been the main character, and he continuously evolves and gets stronger while Goku was off to train Oob. Oob comes back strong as well. Gohan is a very high position. Vegeta is a very high position, but I think it's good. I think it's something refreshing. I think it gives something the fans to look forward to. But I would say don't take the term of form, the word form, out of context.
Right.
What he's saying is it's telling us fans that he's here to stay, and on top of that, it's telling us fans that he is not going to go Super Saiyan white or green or purple or something like that. He's gonna continue to train, to continue to get stronger, and his ultimate form, he's at his ultimate form right now. He's just trying to improve it. So that's what it is. I think it looks amazing on him, by the way, and it's the biggest, besides the Cell arc, Ultimate Gohan or Mystic Gohan is probably the biggest, sorry, I messed with that word for some reason, the biggest word, or the biggest in terms of market value. The market value is insane for Ultimate Gohan. So I think I agree with you. It would be wise to stay with that concept, not give something Gohan new, because he doesn't need it at this point.
And it makes sense for Goku to relinquish his position because he was really a recruiter. And just looking at, team skills, working alongside his team, I think that along the lines, Gohan can serve that purpose in defending everyone while Goku takes all the heat, because I think that Goku will take all the heat. Goku's going to take all of the punishment, because if Bergamo or whoever makes their claim on saying that, look, there's the guy, that's the dude right there, do you see him, target him, I can definitely see everyone being upset, directly at Goku for bringing this tournament about and trying to jeopardize their existence. And I think that with that being said, as you said earlier, that removes all the pressure from everyone else. However, they throw him out, which I do think for some reason along the lines that may happen, because again, as Piccolo said before, it's not based on power. Goku may have the power, he may have the key manipulation control, he may have stamina, but I think that by the end of it, if there is someone that approaches him that throws him out, it's gonna be all on Gohan and the rest of the team. And I think that even to an extent, I can definitely see Gohan saving Frieza from like certain disasters. I can see Gohan stepping in.
He has no choice.
Like he was always one of those guys. Even looking back during when the Cell Juniors were attacking the Z fighters, we saw how Gohan came to everyone's aid. Even though that may not play a huge significant role in this, just having to see how Gohan was back then and how he is now, I think that it makes sense. Goku being the team leader, like, I think based on power-wise, yeah, I mean, I guess, because he would be technically the strongest one there. But in terms of, like, utilizing his skills and trying to get his team to work as a cohesive unit, I think is a bad idea, which is what I loved Gohan, when especially when he fought, Goku, and the way Piccolo was utilized and stuff. But in terms of any last words for Gohan, in terms of, do you see anything happening with him to where he gets thrown out, or do you think that, because one flaw that I've noticed for Gohan is his vision. What did Tien and Master Roshi say the minute Goku was launching those ki blasts and he moved out the way to instant transmission behind him? Roshi said he blocked Gohan's vision, and I made a video about this a long time ago, and I pointed out that I've noticed that Gohan's main weakness is his vision. Same thing with Lavender. When he poisoned him, he removed his eyesight. Similar to many instances where Frieza pretty much stopped his heart. Frieza was so quick, his vision, he wasn't able to... he wasn't able to detect Frieza. That's how fast he was, and he had his heart stopped. So I think that Gohan's main weakness here, in my opinion, is definitely his vision. But if that were to be removed, and if that were to be used against Gohan, do you still think he can pull through, or do you think that that's a major flaw that's going to be leading into his downfall at this tournament? Because we don't know what the other fighters can do in terms of like abilities. They can easily poison someone or just blind them or something. So do you think that if that weakness were used against them, it would favor the fighter, or do you think that Gohan can overcome that?
I think it just goes to show Gohan's inexperience as a fighter. He tends to think, or I'm not even sure if he just thinks this way, he just feels this way. He just assumes that whoever he fights won't pull some kind of cheap trick
Right.
to get the best of him, right? So episode 90, perfect example. The Kamehameha clash. Goku tells him, Gohan, unleash more power. The minute Gohan fights back with the Kamehameha, another instant transmission, and Goku tries to undercut him right again.
Right
just
there.
like right. So it just goes to show that Gohan's inexperience as a fighter. It's not so much maybe his vision, but perhaps his fighting sense overall. You compare it to Goku. There's no Goku one-on-one. I'm sorry, like anybody with Goku one-on-one, it's the only person who has a chance at besting him is Vegeta in terms of rivalry.
Yeah.
Because Vegeta has fought him. He's seen him battle countless amounts of times, so he would know the best way to actually go against Goku. But even then, Goku, his skill set is what really puts him ahead of everybody. I mean, the instant transmission is so clutch. I mean, the fact that you can launch a barrage of ki blasts at somebody and still all of a sudden
And
just
move out
stop
the way. Yeah.
instant transmission behind somebody, and not that's a very, very, very clutch move right there. We've seen it with Cell, instant transmission Kamehameha. We saw that. I mean, we saw so much again with Topo, instant transmission Kamehameha. You know, he kind of just dived right at him and just boom, blasted it. So Goku's skill set is what makes him dangerous. And when you compare it to someone like Gohan, yeah, Gohan's gonna look like fodder. But you're right though. I mean, when he faced Lavenda, again, he was very inexperienced. He hadn't, got his fighting sets back and stuff like that. But I would say that shouldn't be too much of an issue, especially if he's assuming the role as leader. And if he's going to follow through with it, he knows he has to walk into this tournament not trying to think so hard about what the next move the person is going to be, but more so just fight. Just fight. That's the only thing you can do. It's a battle royale. Everybody's going to come at you. He just needs to just give it his all and not try to win everything in one shot.
No, definitely. I mean, the question is Gohan going to win the Tournament of Power? I mean, I think that it is possible. I think in an essence, it may be a little unlikely. Perhaps maybe they're going to tease us in thinking that Universe 7 can win because let's face facts here. I mean, we have Ultimate Gohan, number 17, Golden Frieza, 2 Super Saiyan Blues. That right there is just on a different level of power.
Yeah.
But I think that to a degree, they, just like Toyotaro said before, if you guys think you know everything about the Universe 7 team, you're wrong. And I do think that he also is going to try to swerve the fans because everyone wants to believe that, yeah, Universe 7 is going to win. Anything can happen. For all we know, probably the weakest universe can win, the strongest universe can win, who knows. But I think as for Gohan, it is possible. Would it make sense? That's up for you guys to decide down in the comments. Let us know what you guys think about Gohan winning, if Gohan's going to receive any sort of massive Zenkai boost after fighting his father, if it's possible that Gohan's going to also achieve a quote-unquote new form, or if you guys agree with me and Emish and Gohan having to stay the way he is. Let us know down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. We would love to hear your thoughts down below. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Check out Emish's channel. I will link it down below. And on that note, guys, we'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.